I have to coach myself all the time about the fact that not everybody is like me. And that is a really big lesson to learn repeatedly. And many of you that are probably in academia, many of you that are in the business world, that are honestly just kind of like too nice as people, you gotta expect that a lot of people are just not gonna be nice. And you gotta expect that there is, people have their own motives, and people sort of see things completely differently than you think that they should see things. And I think that's really important to remember as you go about your day. And it's one of the sort of biggest things that you'll ever learn as you sort of grow up as a person, is that just there is a lot of people that they're just self-interested and they really don't care. And as you get to know these things, as you sort of become a lot more aware, you have to sort of just protect yourself, right? Like I am a person that I was born and raised in a very sort of loving family, and we always gave a lot. I remember my mom spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, like, and so much of her time either volunteering in the church of where we're at, in Roman Catholic, cleaning the church and various things like that, or donating her time by visiting the sick in the hospital. And she spent like so crazy amounts of hours. So I assumed that's kind of what people did, right? Like they were just genuinely outgoing, like not outgoing. My mom's like crazy outgoing if you ever met her. But just like I assumed that people just cared about other people. But it's a lesson that we have to repeatedly learn. I repeatedly learn is the vast majority of people. My mom, my family was just crazy outliers. They were, off the charts in terms of sort of that charitable part of life. And most people do not care. And you have to get used to that. That most people do not care. And they're going to respond accordingly based on their own individual incentives. And I'm sorry, I'm eating and talking, eating an orange at the same time. I mean, like the worst. So I've got the cell phone on, my cell phone's on headset or whatever. I do speakerphone, and then I'm eating an orange and driving, and know that is really bad. Distracted driving things, but it's actually not as bad as you think it is, because I can pay attention. As long as I'm not talking on holding the phone, I'm okay. It is challenging to come to terms with that, and it's a part of me growing up. I've said this so many times, but it's a lesson I learned so much. Maybe I'm not learning it. Maybe that's my problem. Is it's an unlearned thing, and day in and day out, I'm just so naive. But that's the challenge with a lot of academia, a lot of the whole research game. It is really brutal, and you have to find. And it's, so the brutal part is you don't really identify, you can't identify, it's hard to know the sort of underlying motives, I guess, of people up front. And that is a challenge. I'm not saying people are mean and all that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm sort of getting at. Is that they're self-motivated. They have their own thing. And people don't care about who you are and all that kind of stuff. And you have to just come to terms with that But the thing is, it's not only coming to terms with it, but realizing that you don't know. You have no idea. The challenge is, how do you sort of identify, so you're making a decision about an unknown asset, and how do you identify the particular uncertain unknown asset? And frankly, it's impossible. And the only way that you could sort of figure it out is to be kind and generous, at least just with me, kind and generous up front, and hopefully, it sorts itself out in the end. But golly, I am really bad with that. And I seem to waste a lot of resources doing that kind of stuff. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst with that. Of trying to figure that out. How do you create ongoing business relationships over time with different other individuals, I guess, and that is the challenge with anything, right? It's like it's hard, right? Like it's like making friends on a playground. It's like it's an unknown asset when you go and talk to somebody for the first time and go through all of the motions, but you have no idea. And that is the challenging thing, is what does that look like, right? And how do you do that? I don't know, to be honest. I am, I'm sort of kind of in the last few years, I'm sort of at my wit's end to sort of identifying that kind of thing, and being, I just honestly don't know what is the best possible course of action with, choosing business relationships and stuff, because it is very costly. I don't know. I just don't know at this point. Just like frustrated. Maybe someday I'll figure it out, but at the moment I can't figure things out, and I'm too nice. Is what it comes down to. Anyways, so you probably all know what I'm talking about, and been there, done that. Anyways, here's to being too nice. Take care, and have a wonderful day.